Hey guys, it's the Lit Teacher here, and today I'm going to talk you through paragraph structure, or kind of why paragraph structure doesn't really matter. I guess I'm talking about the paragraph structures that maybe you've learned at your school. Like, is it Texas, or is it Sexy, or is it Peel, or is it Teal, or is it Pearl, or is it whatever? I'm just going to talk you through each one of them and kind of point out like why it doesn't really matter, controversial opinion. So, what are some of the common structures? I'll whip through them really quickly. I'm assuming there's probably one in this list that you would have encountered or even used at your school. I'm then going to talk about the one that we use at school. So, yeah, we do use a paragraph structure, and I'll get to why we do and which one we do and the reasons for that, etc. But I will kind of just get to this broader point of like why it doesn't really matter. I'm not trying to say that too loud. I don't want other teachers to like hear me. They get very tribal, very weird about this stuff. But then I will just kind of give you some advice on what I think paragraph structures do and how you should think about paragraph structures in a way that's going to help you write. Okay, so what are the common structures? This is kind of the order from like the oldest one that I've heard of, the one from back in the day, right through to kind of more common modern variants that I hear in school. So it's Texas. You got your two variations on Sexy, C, which is a kind of less common junior one that I've seen around the place, Peel, Teal, and also Pearl. So these are the variations of paragraph structures that I see, and I should probably just take a step back to explain what I mean by paragraph structures. This is essentially for essay writing in English. This works, like these structures are essentially multi-purpose and would work across different subject areas, but I'm kind of talking specifically about the ones that you've probably encountered in English specifically. So, what is Texas? Like I said, it's kind of the oldest one. It's the first one I've heard of. I looked back through some really old resource books and I found the Texas structure like going right back years ago now into the 90s. So T stands for topic sentence. So you start your paragraph with a topic sentence, establishes the topic of the paragraph. And then the E and the X go evidence, example, and explain. So you provide some evidence from the text, some examples, and then you explain that, like why is it relevant. A is for analyze. So this is one that's kind of geared more towards, say, level 2 and level 3 students, where analysis is really important. So you kind of talk about what's happening there. This is where you might bring in like a language feature and kind of break the text down a little bit further. And then S is for summary. So you kind of end this sort of body paragraph with a kind of summary, I guess, of the argument that you've essentially made in this paragraph. So that's Texas. Sexy is the one that I used at school, okay? So I'm kind of maybe showing my age to some people here, but we use the Y variant. The C variant's essentially the same thing. So S stands for statement, so your first sentence is a statement, you're making a statement. The E stands for evidence example, again, same deal as Texas. The X stands for explain, again, same as Texas. And then you move into the Y, which was your opinion in my instance. So this is where you kind of brought in your own personal response, I suppose, your own kind of take on things. And C kind of just stands for comment, which is essentially the same thing. You're making like your own comment, I guess. So then we move into C, which is really just sexy, but without the kind of last bit there. So this is kind of more geared towards juniors. Statement, evidence, example, explain. If you're following along at home, you're probably seeing that the E and the X's in each instance are exactly the same. I'm going to get to why that's relevant shortly. Then a kind of more common one that I probably see the most, and this is largely due to the work probably of the Write That Essay crew and Dr. Ian Hunter, who's kind of popularized the P and Peel structure, and also the TEEL variation that I see. So P in this instance just stands for point. So this is slightly different. The first sentence, I suppose, is the point that you're trying to make in that paragraph. The T for TEEL variation just stands for topic sentence, so just the same as the Texas acronym. And then, yeah, evidence example, same again. Explain, same again. Link is an interesting one. So in some variations of Peel and Teal, I've seen link as you link to the following paragraph, which I'll admit I find sort of odd and I don't really like. And the reason I don't like that is I feel that a point or topic sentence should kind of transition from the previous paragraph anyway without requiring another sentence before it that kind of links onto it. I hope I've explained that clearly to you. So yeah, I always found those linking, the idea of trying to link one paragraph to the next one a little bit curious and a little bit forced, in my opinion. And I prefer the kind of more modern variation on link, which is essentially that you link back to the point you're making in that paragraph, or you link more broadly to your overall thesis that you're making, so what the whole essay is essentially arguing, or alternatively, link as in you link beyond the text, so to something like the human condition or, society at the time or the context in which the text you're discussing was written. So link is quite nice here. It's kind of multi-purpose in that respect. Now, Pearl is kind of an extension on Peel to a degree. So it's point, again, same deal. Evidence, example, same deal. Then you've replaced explain with analyze. So this is more geared towards, say, level 2, level 3 students where critical analysis is more important. And then the R is a nice variation that stands for reader response. So this is kind of forcing you to think a little bit about, I guess, how you're responding as a reader or how other readers, audiences may respond to a text. So that's kind of good for pushing into those other aspects of written text that you need to discuss at level 2 and level 3. And then again, you've got the L for link at the end there. So those are all the kind of variants that I hear. I'm aware there may be others, but those are the kind of common go-to ones that I've seen used in schools throughout New Zealand and, for that matter, across the globe. Okay, so what do we use at my school, in my department? Well, we just stick to good old Peel. And yeah, I'm totally aware that this video is all about how paragraph structure supposedly doesn't matter, and I'll get to why, it doesn't matter in a moment. And then, yeah, you're probably confused, like, why are you using a paragraph structure then? Well, we use Peel, and Peel, I feel, is a really nice, simple one. And the kind of one thing I would say about the way that we use Peel at my school is I see the E's as being kind of interchangeable to some degree, because I think you can get a little bit too bogged down and like, okay, I need to do an example now, and now I need to explain it. And then students can sometimes feel a little bit boxed in if they want to say something more about a different example or something or other. Thinking about evidence and examples and explanation is something that's kind of essentially interchangeable, that's kind of intermingling with one another in the paragraph there. I think it's a helpful way to think about it that just sort of simplifies the Peel structure and makes it less rigid. So yeah, we use Peel, and that's the way that we use it. So yeah, why doesn't it really matter? Well, I'm not saying that paragraph structures don't matter. Obviously, I think paragraph structures do matter, and I think you should use a paragraph structure. So yeah, apologies if the video is misleading in that respect. I've kind of clickbaited you, I suppose. But what I'm trying to say in terms of like why it doesn't matter is it doesn't matter which one you use. The reason being that they're all just kind of the same, people. They're like just kind of the same thing. Like, think about it. Topic, sentence, statement, point. That's all kind of just the same thing, right? Evidence, example is in every acronym that I just ran through. It's literally in each case. Same with explain. It's in virtually everyone as well. And when you add analyze or reader response in, all you're really trying to do is just kind of push it maybe towards a more level 2, level 3 style paragraph as opposed to a kind of junior school or level 1 style response. So I kind of just see it as an extension on explain anyway. And yeah, when you get to the end of the paragraph, your opinion, comment, link, it's all kind of the same, people. It's all just where you're kind of pushing your own response in a way. It's where you're sort of trying to make those beyond the text connections, your opinions, your commentary, your broader links. The one exception I would say, and this is why I don't like Texas so much, is I feel like summary is not a great one. I don't really feel like I need a summary of a paragraph when I've just read the paragraph. Like, why would you summarize it? So yeah, if I was gonna kind of say that one was lesser than the others, it's possibly Texas, just for that matter. But yeah, doesn't really matter because like they're all just the same people. They're all just the same. They're just the same. So what's my advice then if they are all just the same? Well, I feel like just you do you. Like you find the one that works for you. It could be the one that your teacher kind of stresses in their classes, or it could be one that you've kind of encountered in a video online like this one and you've kind of clicked with it. If it makes sense to you, then just go with it, right? If peel makes sense, go with peel. If sexy makes sense, go with sexy. Whatever. They're all just the same, as I've kind of labored already. One thing I would say is communicate with your teacher about this. If they've really kind of hammered in a certain paragraph structure and then you want to kind of try a different variation on it, like Pearl, for example, if I was your teacher, I'd probably want to know that and I'd probably want to have a talk with you about why you're wanting to do that and kind of how we could sort of approach it kind of as a teacher-student together. What I'd also say to that end is that you might actually come up with something that your teacher really likes, and then you might find in the next lesson they're teaching the whole class about it, like ARCOL, teacher as student, student as teacher thing. If you've got a good teacher, they'll be responsive to stuff that you've come up with or things that you've found that you think are helpful, and they may be able to share that with the class, so then everybody benefits. So talking to your teacher about paragraph structures is really healthy and helpful thing to do. One kind of final pair of points is be consistent. Like if you're going to commit to a certain structure, just be really consistent about it and kind of try to naturalize the process. You don't want to be kind of overthinking it and being like stressing out about like, oh, my friend uses Texas, but like I'm using Peel, and this other guy I heard got an excellence last year used sexy, and I want to chop and change. As I said before, you just do you, go with the one that works for you and try to make that natural and be confident with that. And the only way to kind of really zero in on a structure that works for you is to just practice it and try to find a balance. One thing that I would say is I tend to see some pretty imbalanced approaches, and especially in terms of like the interchangeability of evidence and explanation, and sometimes it's almost like too much evidence and virtually no explanation. So yeah, practice writing within the framework of whatever structure you're using and try to find a balance that kind of means that your paragraph is sort of well ordered and covering all of its bases. And yeah, at the end of the day, whether you're a sexy, Texas, Peel, Pearl, Teal, whatever, it doesn't really matter. People, they're all kind of just the same. They're just kind of the same. That's my video on paragraph structures. If you like what I'm doing at the Lit Teacher channel here, please like and subscribe. If you've got a different structure that you use that I've never heard of that I didn't cover in this video, I'd love to hear it in the comments. And yeah, any other questions or queries, love to hear those as well as video ideas, because I'm always on the hunt for other things that I can maybe talk about and cover with you. So yeah, until next time, thank you for watching, ka kite, and up the waz.